Hello, everyone, and welcome to the R Series Loyalty webinar. My name is David, and I am a client trainer here at Lightspeed who focuses on loyalty, R Series, C Series, X Series, and E Series. So I cover a whole slew of platforms, but today we'll be covering really just specifically the loyalty platform. Little note of housekeeping while we're getting started here. Unlike other webinars that you may have watched for either R series or C series, the loyalty webinar is a one-off, so there is no two-parter. It is not something that you will need to watch a secondary video for. This video should be the only webinar that you will be watching for the loyalty platform. That being said, we should be able to dive right into our agenda. So I'm just going to jump over to our next slide here. And so to kind of touch on what we're going to be covering today, we are still going to have a couple of housekeeping things to go over once we get into the loyalty system, just regarding, making sure it's properly provisioned, setting up your account and connecting it to your POS system. But aside from that, we're going to be looking at the bread and butter of the loyalty system, the loyalty campaigns and rewards, retail loyalty transactions, both on the iPad and computer dashboards. So depending on what you're using, you'll have it all covered. The main dashboard of the loyalty system, as well as points and reporting. Um, how you can manage your users and the groups within the system itself, using the loyalty platform as an email marketing tool, so using it for newsletters and email blasts, as well as what loyalty looks like on the e-commerce platform Lightspeed C Series in the event that that's something that you do have as well. So it's really going to try and cover absolutely everything within the loyalty platform today. So that being said, let's dive right in. I'm just going to escape out of these slides here, and we can go over to our Lightspeed Loyalty login page. So this is what your Lightspeed Loyalty login page is going to look like. And right off the bat, you should notice that there is a third piece of information that you may not have used for other systems, the subdomain. This is something that is specific to your account and typically named after your business name. But it is something that would be sent to you by your account manager once everything is fully set up and your loyalty account is provisioned. They would send you the subdomain as well as the email that you should be using. That being said, the email here is going to be the one that matches the email on your administrator account on Lightspeed R Series. They will not send you a password. So this is one of those housekeeping things for getting your account set up right from the get-go. The first time you log into Lightspeed Loyalty, you will need to enter your subdomain and email as your admin email, but you'll have to use the forgot your password link to properly set up your password for the first time. So it won't ask you for anything along the lines of, hey, like what's the original password or something like that. It's very much just going to be asking you for your new password so that you can create your account and gain access to the system. I'm going to be accessing one of our demo accounts, Lavender and Co. And I'll be using just my account to access it. Once I'm in, we are in the dashboard, which we'll be taking a look at just a little later. What I want to start with in this system is specifically one more piece of housekeeping that you will need to get done first and foremost when getting into your system. It is very important that this gets done first and foremost because it allows for your POS system, the Lightspeed R Series platform, to connect to the loyalty platform here. So first thing you're going to want to do is come over to your right hand or left hand menu that we have here and select settings. From there, you're going to want to select Retail POS R Series out of the options. It should be the last one right down here. Now, my account is going to say I'm already connected, but within this field, you should have a connect button. Once you do that, it'll just bring you over to your Lightspeed R Series login, where you'll log in as normal. And then it'll ask for a couple of permissions, just allowing the loyalty platform to access certain portions of the R Series platform, as is necessary for loyalty points to be accumulated and so on and so forth. That's pretty much it for our last piece of housekeeping on this. So from there, let's dive into the main, I would say the bread and butter of the loyalty system, which is the campaigns. This will be how your customers can earn points to be redeemed for rewards, which we'll be discussing later. So when we're looking at the campaigns, the first campaign that we can see here is the Pay Plus Earn campaign. This is the only mandatory campaign you will have out of all of the other campaigns listed that we'll go over today. And this is because this is the campaign that allows your customers to earn points. So this is a points per dollar campaign. I normally recommend leaving it just at a point per dollar because then it makes it a little easier to do the math in terms of how many dollars they have to spend to earn point amounts to use those for their rewards. You have the option to add points on the invoice subtotal or the total including taxes as well. And you do have the option of excluding products from this by clicking the Manage button next to excluded products under points. This will allow you to add products both for retail or for the e-commerce side of things based on certain pieces of information like categories, a system ID from within your system, or retail tags. And for e-commerce, I believe it just uses e-com categories. Um, Past the Pay Plus Earn program or the reward, we have the VIP reward. This acts as a tiered reward that customers can reach once they've spent a certain amount at your store that will offer a point multiplier. So instead of being in the standard points per dollar, campaign that we get with the Pay Plus Earn, they would be put into a new tier where they earn maybe a little more or however much you would want to set there. The Time Away campaign would be used to reach customers who have not purchased anything in your store in a certain time period. You can set a date between 7 and 365 days in terms of a duration. So we could say that it's being set for 60 days and that customers that have not shopped within 60 days of your in your store will either receive either points that they could use at any time to come back in or a one-time reward, which we'll discuss a little later in terms of what these do and what those differences are. Um, Past that, there is also rewards for new customers, such as signing up for loyalty to begin with. So this would be just signing in, allowing your and checking off that all of your information is correct. Um, and this is something that, once again, we'll be reviewing once we look at that section for signing customers up during transactions and what have you. Um, the sign up reward is going to offer points or, again, a one-time reward based on when they sign up for the system. Special day rewards would look at more sign-up anniversaries and birthdays. These are things that we can set up. So the sign-up anniversary would have a one-time reward, whereas the birthday would be something that's based on your customer entering their birthday. They do get a certain amount of points for entering the birthday to begin with. So that could be something that entices them to enter their birthday. And then the one-time reward is something that would be put in once their birthday has arrived. This is something that they would receive. That is everything and all of the campaigns that are available within our system. So from here, why don't we look at what these campaigns are used towards, which are the rewards. When you click on rewards in the left-hand menu, you have the option to manage point rewards and one-time rewards. We'll be looking at both of these in depth, but let's start with the point rewards. Once we're at the point rewards, you should already have a couple of rewards in here that are just pre-set up and pre-existing, though you do not necessarily, you can delete them at any time just by clicking the little X buttons here or turn point rewards on and off as you see fit. You can also link rewards to specific groups to say that they are only eligible for customers that have been put in those groups. And there are two types of rewards, which we can add by clicking this blue plus button at the top of the screen. When we hit add rewards, you will see that the reward type will determine what the reward will do. So you have the option of points for product or points for an invoice discount. I'm going to start with a points for product reward. And then we will move on from there to create the other option, which is the points for the invoice discount. Let's start with just a reward name for this. Let's just call it a free product. And then from there, description is something that we can add in to describe what this does. One free product. From there, we would have to mark off how many points need to be spent to earn this. So in this case, I would say for this product, once they spend, say, $20, they should be able to get this product. And I'll add that reward. With points for products rewards, once they're added, which we should see that in here, the free product reward right here, you'll have to go into the manage section for these rewards, because this is where we'll be able to enter what products are actually eligible for being used by this reward. So what can you trade 20 points for as a free and receive as a free product? And for that, we have the options for the retail side of things to add categories, tags by system IDs, or to add all items. Same would go for e-commerce, where we can add by category or specific products or all products. On the retail side of things, I already created a specific product within our system here. I'm just going to pop over to that again, just to make sure that I can grab the system ID for it. It's the loyalty test product right down here. So I'll click into that, and I'm just going to grab this system ID because that's the ID that I'm going to want to use to give a free product. Add by system ID, and I'll just paste that in there. Next, we can choose for this specific item what percentage we want to take off, or if there's a certain set of dollar amounts that we want to remove from it. In this case, I'm going to do a percentage since it's 100% free, and I'm going to say that the amount is going to be 100% that we're removing off. And I'll save that there. So that way we have a functioning reward for points for product. And we can test that out a little later when we're looking at the transaction section of our system. Past that, let's look at the other type of point reward that we get, which is the points for invoice discounts. Now, these ones you get a little bit less control over the names and the descriptions, as those are pre-filled out. And we can say that it's a points for discount flat out. So let's say, 10 points will get you a $2 discount. We can add that reward. So whenever someone spends $10, they will be able to get those $2 off. What's great about these rewards is that they're already pre-listed here, and you don't have to do any management for those. So they're applicable on everything. There are no specific products for them. They are very much a flat dollar reward. Past points reward, we have one-time rewards, which are just a little different than points rewards. As we saw in the campaign section, there are some campaigns that can offer specific one-time rewards. And what those offer in the place of points or what have you, the difference between a one-time reward and a points reward is mainly that one-time rewards have an expiration. So you can set a time for these to be used within, where once a customer receives that, they will be starting a ticking clock for when that reward will no longer be available to them. So, for example, we still have the same options as points for product as well as points for invoice discounts. And these function primarily the same way, where you would add specific dollars and products and what have you. One-time rewards, however, don't typically use points. So we would say if we do a points for product, I'm just going to cancel out of that because it seemed to have if we do a points for product, I can do again, free product. And we can make the duration of this, say, 1 week. So they have 1 week to claim their free product. This is something we could do for their birthday or for the sign-up rewards or what have you. So we could do that 1 day, one free product. It should be down here. So free product. The customer list, this is going to be specifically who was sent this. So you'll be able to see when it was sent, the date issued, and the expiration date. And we still have that manage section where we'll need to pop in and add what the free product is. So I can go again into there and just system ID that to say that's a 100% free product. The other type of one-time reward would, of course, be just an invoice discount. So this we could say like, hey, $10 discount on us in the store today, and it's only going to be for the next, 1 day. And we could pop that in there as a one-time reward. That way, this can be sent as $10 off. That's available for 7 days whenever we're really ready to send it out to customers, either through the email marketing or through those campaigns that we saw earlier. That pretty much covers everything for the rewards sides of things. So from there, I do want to go and take a look at the groups, just because we had seen them earlier as being available within our regular point rewards. And I wanted it's something that we should be discussing. So when we click on groups, there are a few options that we get here. You have manage groups, manage smart groups, manage group actions, and add group actions. Let's start within the manage group section. This is going to be a place where we have all of the groupings for our customers. And groups are a great way to organize customers into certain categories or certain marketable categories for reaching out or what have you. Um, by default, you're going to have a few groups that are already pre-created. Um, and we can always add more groups ourselves, like a teachers group if we want to have a group specifically for teachers, or VIP leveled groups where we can set different levels. Keep in mind that the VIP campaign is very much its own campaign and it does not interact with these groups. These are more meant for other purposes. We also have groups by rewards. So what rewards have been used. Groups by location if you're a multi-location account. Groups by spending habits. So this is where we would see the listings for who's under VIP and who's under non-VIPs. And the groups by special days for accounts that are either older than a year and have had their anniversary, or groups that have had birthdays that have come up. Smart groups would be the next section over. And in case we missed that, actually, you can add a group just by hitting this plus button and just listing out what that group is. We'll be looking at, when we look at the customer side of things, we'll be able to see where those groups apply within the customer field. Smart groups are groups that automatically happen, or in terms of they automatically group your customers together. So spending amounts would be where we could set specifically what that spending amount needs to be to put people in groups. So, high spenders versus low spenders, what have you. And we can edit the actions that these do in terms of what that means, or what if they'll get a runtime reward, if they'll receive an email, or if they'll get points in any way to their account. Time of transaction would be a place that we can set specific transactions in the past days for creating groups. Time since the account was created. This was something that we could always create extra ranges. So past 365, if you want to do one every year, we would just create those ranges so that they enter those, 1-year customer, 2-year customer, 3-year customer. Number of transactions is a self-explanatory. It just goes based on the number of transactions they've completed in your store. Locations. So these are triggers that we can add specifically to add customers to groups. Rewards redeemed. So what specific rewards have been redeemed, and the group code has been entered. So these are all specifically to do with when you're adding groups or creating groups or linking customers to the groups. Managing the group actions and adding group actions. I'm going to start and add group actions just because this allows us to do specific things for groups. So we can set specific criteria where it's users in is or at least one of, user is not any of these groups, or user is in all of the groups. So depending on if they have to fill or match. We could add descriptions to what this is, add points or add dollars, and add a specific email. The push messages is left over from a time when we used to have SMS marketing, which you've also may see down here. This is not something that's currently available within the system. So you should not have access to SMS marketing in any way, shape, or form. And then finally, managing group actions. This is where we could manage how those group actions that we've created interact. So this one here, for example, is set up to say when a customer becomes a VIP, they'll receive a message. So that has to do with setting up the group, and that the trigger would being when they've been joined into that VIP group from the campaign. That pretty much covers everything within the groups. So at this point, I think it's time for me to switch my screen over to the iPad. From there, I'm going to be able to show you guys a little bit more on the iPad side, just what adding customers looks like to loyalty. And then from there, we'll swap onto the computer side and look at that as well. So for the time being, let's get us switched over to the iPad. You should be able to see the iPad screen now. So on the iPad, this would be your standard entry point for when you log into the application on your iPad for the Lightspeed R series application. Let's start by just adding customers to loyalty. So if I jump into a sale, once loyalty is connected on the iPad, you'll know it by seeing this little rewards tab at the bottom of the iPad here. But if we were to create a new customer and try and add them to loyalty, let's see what that would look like. So we add a customer in. I have a new loyalty customer that I've done down here. And so I will click on them just because for the sake of making this a little quicker. If I hit the plus button, it would still look like this, as all I've entered into this loyalty customer is their name. To add them to loyalty, you will want to click on the add loyalty button that we see right up here. So we would hit just add to loyalty. And then from there, there are certain requirements within here that we will need to fill out. So when we have this, there's a little checkbox as well if you're just typing them out. One of the requirements will be specifically an email address. It doesn't hurt to have a phone, and a phone number. And I believe on the computer side of things, you will still need to enter a phone number despite all of the messages being sent out by email. But for in this case, we will just need to add an email to make sure that they can properly get joined into that loyalty account. Once a customer is part of loyalty, they would look like this customer up here, where we would actually see what their current points are, as opposed to an add to loyalty option. From there, we can take a look at what that flow would look like on the actual sale itself. So let's add this customer to a sale since they have loyalty points and we can kind of work with that. I'm going to search up my loyalty item. So I believe it was just under loyalty test product. And I'm going to add that to the sale. Once that is on the sale here, from here, we can check into our rewards options. I do see that there's a loyalty option there from the category, but went too far there. So once we're there, we're going to hit rewards, and that's going to show us what available rewards are here at the moment and what we could use within this system. We should have our free product in here somewhere. Could be, yeah, $10 off, $10 off. Let's add our, well, all of these are with the point balance of 61. None of these seem to be available, so I might actually have to just refresh this really quickly, just because it may not be catching that I created that loyalty reward. So let's just go back into our sales here and continue the sale that I was just working on. I just want to see if we could bring up that free product. There we go. So here are the rewards that we actually just created. And so we can see that the ones that are grayed out are not accessible, but the products that are available for that we created for this loyalty test product, those show up. So let's take the $2 off, for example, and apply that one. That'll remove some loyalty points from the customer, and it'll already apply that discount in there automatically for you. Now, if I wanted to say not use this reward and let's say we cancel this sale entirely and just start a new sale. The other option, just to show you what it would look like if we were using the other loyalty reward, so the product instead of the discount reward. I just want to add that in here. So we'll add our loyalty test product to the sale again, hit rewards, and for points for product ones, so this one would be a free product, it would actually adjust the product itself as opposed to adding an inline discount in there. So that is what it would look like on the R series side, or on the R series side of things for the iPad, as far as just interacting, adding your emails in, creating your customers, and what that loyalty side of things is going to look like in terms of the rewards themselves. From here, let's swap over to the computer side of things, where we can take a look at an actual sale on the computer side and interact on that side. So I'm just going to reshare my screen with this one, and it should only be a moment here. There we are. So now that we're in, again, still in our Lavender & Co. account, let's take a look at what loyalty looks like on this side, on the R series side of things. So from here, on the computer, we would start in a sale just like anywhere, any other system, and we can just start with a new sale here. For customers that are, once your loyalty account is provisioned, you'll get this little blue loyalty button up top. And so it's based on clicking on this button to interact with the dashboard. So let's again go to our new loyalty customer that I had created earlier. So loyalty, new customer, we've just added them into our sale here. Let's get them signed up for loyalty. Sign them up for loyalty. We'll just hit this blue loyalty button. And from here, it'll ask us for the information regarding the customer. So it's already telling us, hey, you don't have an email, so this won't work. And here's where we'll have to put in that required phone number, despite us not using the phone number field. And so this would be once we hit create account and once we link that, this customer would become linked in the system. They receive a little email or a little message to get them signed up. And that's something we'll look at towards the end of this session as to what that email and report sort of looks like. So this would be what it would look like if the customer is not already enrolled, and this is how we can enroll them in loyalty. I'll go back to our sale here. What if the customer was already enrolled in loyalty? We can remove our existing customer, and let's go back to Caroline, since we know that they are an enrolled customer. Once they've been added in here, let's hit loyalty once more to see what this would look like as a loyalty customer, as an existing loyalty account. As an existing loyalty account, they get their points. You have the option of resending that portal link, which will be useful in some ways if you want to send them a link to their personal loyalty dashboard. So your customer, when they access the portal link, will be able to log in and see their points and available rewards. Or you have the option of hitting redeem rewards, which will show us what available rewards there are for this transaction. At the moment, the only one is the $2 off the transaction, just because that's something that we can add in. So I can add that in as a reward. It'll still bring up nothing just because we don't have anything on the system yet. But if I were to add, say, a loyalty item in here, so I'll again just add that test product in there. We may have to go back in there and just redeem that that reward, just because again, it won't apply if there is nothing in there. But once we do, we should get that same dollar off sort of billing. If we remove this reward and we do the other reward as well, so that points for product as opposed to the points for invoice discount, we can use 20 points towards that free product. And again, these won't be eligible in the event that these will not be eligible if the product is not in here or it's not set up that way. So that's why we have that manage product thing in the reward. It won't pop up as an available option unless the transaction is available for it. And so that works out as well. We can see how that dropped the price off so that we no longer have any charges here. Finally, one-time rewards would show up under the redeem rewards section as well. So those, once you hit redeem rewards, they would show up listing. It's really only if they've been sent and eligible and they haven't expired yet that they show up. So if they have a one-time reward, it shows up in the system. If they do not have it, it means that it has expired, but you should be able to track that within the system itself like we saw. From here, this is pretty much everything that has to do with using loyalty in the transactions. Refunds on loyalty transactions do refund the points as well. So that's something you shouldn't have to worry about. But we can look into what other options we have on the loyalty dashboard as far as manually editing points and taking a look at what we have on reporting here. So for starters, we do have a few reports on the loyalty dashboard page directly. So right off the top, we have our totals report, which will give us, the total amount of customers linked, the total points in circulation, and the total that's been received. Timelines will set up really more when points were earned versus used and give you kind of a nice graph just to take a look at those. Whereas customers will go by seeing how many new customers were added specifically within certain date ranges. Rankings look at which customers have the most points or which customers have redeemed the most points, as well as which customers have used specific rewards, like which rewards are your best rewards or most used rewards. And then finally, the points usage breakdown will break down specifically just like where, where points were earned, whether it be from the dashboard, sign-up bonuses, check-ins, or rewards being refunded, or just even, setting your birthday. So this will break down that in a nice little graph. There are also other loyalty reports in here. So if we go to the reports page, that'll be where we can see a little bit more information regarding just point usage. So if we jump into that report, this will show up with, who the specific customer is, when they're using the points, and how they're using it, as well as when they're receiving points. So green would be receiving, red would be using. And the source would be telling you what specifically is being used. So, a sign up bonus for receiving or checking in for receiving, or, they were added by a group and that's when they received the points. And we saw that through the group mechanics. Or app redeem rewards. So they redeemed it during a sale or something along those lines. Sign up bonuses, email marketing. You get really all of the usage in here, so that you have a little bit more information regarding the system there. Now, from here, I'm going to move us over into a Help Center article. And the reason for that is because we will need to take a look at, in the event that you are switching from an existing loyalty platform, how we can get that information across for customers that already have points and don't necessarily want to lose them. So our best bet is to look at the importing loyalty points article on our Lightspeed R Series Help Center, just because this is going to be one that goes over everything we'll need to know specifically when it comes to importing points. Um, so when we take a look at this, uh, let's begin with just where you would want to start. There are some limitations with this process. So one of the very serious limitations and very hard placed limitations on this product, or on the option of importing into this product, is that you can only do it once. There's only one time that you are allowed to import your points. So there is no way around this. The only way around it is deleting your account and recreating you another loyalty account, which can take some time. I would very much strongly suggest that if you are importing your points, make sure that the file that you submit for the points import is finalized, that it is very much the all information file. I would also suggest setting a cutoff date for when you're using the actual other system, just so you have time to transfer from one to the other without customers perhaps earning more points. Um, as far as creating the import spreadsheet itself, there are certain pieces of information that we accept versus pieces of information that we don't really accept. So as far as creating your spreadsheet, these are the column titles you would want to have. So an email, a country code for the phone number, and a phone number. They will need to be separated. The first name and last name of your customer, the points, and then the email marketing opt-in is just a yes or no if they're allowing you to send them emails or not. This is something that you will have to include in there to say yes, they accept being sent emails, or no, they do not want to be sent emails. This is the only information that we can import. But once your import is complete, you would be able to enroll customers, no problem. So you should be good to go on that front. If you do need any help with this, you can find this article always under the Help Center under importing loyalty points. It's the only article like this. So now that we've gotten that covered, let's jump back towards our loyalty dashboard. And from here, let's take a look at the customers themselves. I might actually start in these slides for this one, just because it might be helpful to see what this looks like on the customer facing side of things. So when a customer signs up, we've already seen sort of this page, maybe not on the iPad side, but we have seen it where they receive that introduce yourselves. This should be pre-filled in when they're signing up and hitting that link that you get sent to them, just because you should already have their email linked in. But it's an opportunity for them to edit the email or make sure that it is the proper email that they want to receive information at. From there, once signed in, they'll get a neat little app screen for the system itself. So this is just kind of like a mock-up, but it would be similar to this, where you would be able to log in, add your loyalty account to your Apple Wallet. You would be able to log into that reward system that through that portal link that we saw earlier, and be able to see your current points as well as how close you're getting to coming rewards. And that jumps into the e-commerce side of things. So from there, I think I can leave these slides here and we can jump back onto your loyalty platform. So that's really just to show you what the customer side of things would look like. In the customer section on the loyalty side, since we have not reviewed this yet, there are a few sections that are important to see and interact with so that we can better, or, report on stuff, remove points manually, and track customers. So for starters, let's start in the manage customers section. This is a place where you can track all of your customers and how they've been interacting. So we can see Caroline here having with their 61 points. And that's a quick way to segue into this, that you can always change points directly in here just by double clicking and making the changes. Though this will not regard why the change was made, and it won't show up necessarily in the reporting accurately. It'll just say that there was a change made. It won't say whether, points were added or removed. So there are other sections that we can use, like the add points or use points sections, that better report in your points usage report up top here. And these function very similarly, where you just pull up that customer. Like I could say Caroline, and either add points or then use points that they already have in a similar fashion. This is also a section where you can track customer information, make changes to customer names within these systems if need be, and just have general pieces of information on the customers, for their emails and all that, what points they currently have, what groups they're currently linked through, that sort of thing. Uh, As far as admins go, administrators would be your admins and scanner users. These would be the users that you want to have access to your system. So if you have, other folks or other staff members that are going to be helping you with the onboarding or with setting up loyalty or with interacting with loyalty for your account, or just even the management afterwards, you'll need to get them added as an admin. This is a process that only the support team can help out with. So you'll need to contact our support team either through the chat function in your Lightspeed R series account, where you could do that directly if we go to the help center down here and hit contact support, or you can give us a call at our support number. I'll make sure that it's on screen by the end of the webinar. I think it was on screen at the beginning of it as well. They will request that whoever you are trying to add as an administrator be already linked in your system as a customer. And so if they're already linked as a customer, all they'll need is their email to know, okay, like which email is associated that needs to be turned into an administrator. And then once that's done, they would add them in. You should be able to see them listed here. Similar to your first login experience, when a merchant or when when a merchant or your staff gets added as an administrator, they will also need to do the forgot password link to log in for the first time so that they can create their password. That pretty much covers everything for customers. So from here, we could move into the locations settings. So if we just take a look at under content, we had rewards and locations. To manage locations, it's a little bit of a moot point, just because there's not much that you would do in this section aside from just editing general contact and information. Most importantly is the integration ID field. You'll want to make sure that your location, when linked, has an integration ID. If it doesn't, like this Toronto location, then it could be that the link between these two has been broken and is not functioning properly. So Toronto customers might not be able to receive loyalty points, or loyalty may be turned off for Toronto for whatever reason in this case. So I normally recommend, if that is the case, contact our support team so they can take a look into it to make sure that everything is properly linked and integrated. Past locations, we can look at one of the last tools before we get into the e-commerce side of things, which is the marketing tools for Lightspeed Loyalty. When we click on email marketing, we have two available marketing tools that are here. So sending a basic email and sending a template email. Once again, SMS marketing is not available. So we could pop into still the SMS history, but there's no way to send SMS messages anymore through this system to use that tool. So that's something that it's just not going to be available. You won't be able to use this for anything. It is just a history. As far as the email marketing goes, sending a basic email is exactly that. You can choose between the languages you have set from your settings. If we go into just your account settings and check out your supported languages in there, But under your email marketing, you have the option of sending multiple emails for different languages depending on your customer base. And this is just a standard email where you can create a subject, create an email, and add specific groups in there to be able to receive that email. This could be letting customers know of a sale or something along those lines, but it is once again just a very much a simple outreach. There are also tools for coding where you can code in that, the full name of the customer on that account be linked in or what have you, just so that they have those pieces of information getting put in there. Um, Sending template emails does a little more than basic emails. So for template emails, you have the option of creating full newsletters where you can design a full scrolling through page, much like this one will say. When we'll just call this, test. Once you've chosen your image, we can go into adding a subject for this. So test loyalty email. We're not going to send it to any one specific group, but you do have the option of attaching either points or a one-time reward to these type of templated emails. So this is a great way to use marketing and outreach to reach out to customers and let them know it's like, hey, we're having a sale from December 26th all the way until January 1st for Boxing Day. And since you're one of our loyalty members, here's an extra 10% off on us. And you can send that out as a one-time reward just so that it lasts for that period if that's something that you want to set up. For the time being, I won't send anything. You should also know that they don't get notified when anything is attached here. So in your email, you may want to include something along the lines of saying, hey, there is a one-time reward that's been added to your loyalty account, or hey, we've added a couple of points to your account just so you can join in so that they're made aware. Once you move into the next section, we have our design where you can edit the theme itself, the template that you've created with adding columns, buttons, images, specific code if need be. There are blocks and bodies and full images that you can load in either by created or just generated images as well. So that's something that's fully available to you. And then finally, when we review it, we can review who is being sent to, what the email looks like, so on and so forth. You can schedule it to send it later and just save it for now, since I'm not sending it to anyone to begin with. But in there, we'll have just for one the templates that are here, and you can start by creating your own emails that you've sent in that you've created, not necessarily sent, but created. And then your emailing history for what was sent out, who received it, how many times was it open, and what kind of engagement you got out of it from this email. That covers everything for the email marketing templates. And we're just about done with the session. There is one more thing I want to cover for the e-commerce platforms. So if you don't have Lightspeed C-Series, at this time, you do not need to stick around any longer. So jumping in just specifically to the e-com account settings, we'll want to be specific to jump into your e-commerce platform. So I'm just going to jump back to retail here and go to e-commerce C-Series. On the C-Series account, there are some loyalty settings that we need to turn on. So we'll need to pop into your settings section here. And I believe it's under advanced. So you're going to want to go into advanced and scroll just a little further down to the loyalty section here, where we can just turn on that toggle to enable loyalty. Once enabled, it should be linked and you should get all of those settings under the loyalty side of things that we saw earlier with the rewards, where you can designate what the rewards will do for loyalty on the e-commerce side. And for that, I do have a couple of slides that we can look at just to see what that's going to look like on the loyalty side of things. So you'll get this little e-commerce tab where you can add specific products either in the one times or in the point rewards for the e-commerce side of things. So you can have separate rewards for e-commerce versus retail. And again, you'll want to pop into advanced and just enable loyalty to make sure that that's connected properly. This is what the cart looks like on your e-commerce platform. And this is what it's going to look like, this little circled section here, for customers that are not yet registered on loyalty. So either they don't have an account. The link is normally made by the email. So when your customer signs up with an email on your e-commerce side, it should link the email to their retail account as well as what they have in loyalty. And so if they don't already, this is where they can register for an account and create an account. once they have created an account and they jump into it, they'll see that there's a rewards section in there, and that'll kind of give them their point balances as well as just information as to like where they're coming to for their next rewards, how long it'll take until they reach VIP status, that sort of thing. If they're already signed up for loyalty, then instead of getting that little sign up area, they'll get a rewards section on their cart, which will show them either available rewards that are available for them based on their points. And so that's something that's fairly useful. It helps them use their points as well, and they will still earn points from the loyalty side from e-commerce as well. So any order they make on e-commerce, the points still go to the same pool. That pretty much covers everything for Lightspeed e-commerce and loyalty as well. So as far as next steps in terms of moving forward with loyalty, it would be to read through your documentation and familiarize yourself with the software. So in other words, just play around with it. Create those campaigns, create your rewards, test them with your staff and try them out. That's something that is always great to start with as far as getting it set up. And if you have any questions or you need any help or need any assistance setting up, you can always feel free to contact our technical support team or our support team through the call line or through the chat, and they should be able to provide you with any assistance that you would require. For the time being, thank you so much for joining, and I hope that you got as much out of this as I did. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. And once again, just at the bottom here, there are a little bit more pieces of information for how you can get in touch with just onboarding. If you need more onboarding for our series, or how you can get in touch with us for the onboard team at onboard@lightspeedhq.com. Take care now. Bye.